Hello, and as usual, welcome to this week's video. Today we're going to be talking about caricature. I'm going to be talking about proportion, likeness, hatching, use of pen and inks and papers. I'm going to be using a dip pen and also I'm going to be using Indian ink. You can use bought pens. For instance, this one here is called Pen Gear and it's a permanent marker. If I open it, it's got quite a soft tip, so I can get small marks and thicker marks with it, but the marks are quite soft. I quite like the use of a pen nib because it gives you harder marks and you can get some very dramatic lines with it. I'm using a variety of different photographs, so I'm going to be looking at drawing out some roughs to begin with, and then I'll be using one of the pictures to show a completed drawing. Here I've got a photograph of a little boy from the 1980s, so quite a long time ago. You can tell by the haircut. And yes, he's got a snake around his neck, which I could use as part of the caricature. The idea is to look at the features, see what stands out to you, see what areas are larger, which are smaller, what you'd like to emphasize, what you'd like to exaggerate, but don't overthink it. If you overthink it, you can end up getting a bit confused with what you're trying to do and it loses its spontaneity. So if I look at this child's head, if you look at the head shape, which is one of the most important first things to look at, it's very much an upside down triangle. So you could exaggerate this, especially with this hair. You could make the hair bigger, make the chin smaller. He's got quite big eyes, so you could also exaggerate the eyes. His eyes slightly slope up at the edges, so you can take them up a little bit. And you could shrink his mouth so that it fits in with the chin. You can shrink his neck so the head is very big. Very often in caricature, you'll see full-bodied character who's got a massive head and a smaller body, because the aim is just to have the features rather than the whole body. So you have to distort everything to make it interesting. The first thing to do is to think about the thumbnails. So you can try lots of different ways of looking at the face. So I'm going to start off with the face shape. So the face shape is very much this face shape. And as I say, I can exaggerate it. I'll just do it a little bit heavier so that you can see, because it does bleach on camera. His ears are very interesting. So I could put those on coming out here. I could exaggerate them a little bit, like that. And the other side. His nose is reasonably long. I could lengthen it. I'm going to just put in where the eyes are going to go. The nose could go down here and the mouth could go here. So his eyes are pretty big, so I could take them up a little bit. Like that. And the nose goes down. Interesting shape to the nose. I could make the nose a little bit smaller because it's not one of his major features. And then with the mouth, I could make it even smaller. And I could make his top lip a little bit more pouting. And his bottom lip is very interesting. It's quite wide. So I could exaggerate that. He's got a darker area in the middle there. So with his eyes nice and big. And then with his hair, he's got a little zigzag that goes up like a parting. I could even make the head much bigger. You can really exaggerate. You could even bring the parting down. And then you have the flat. So I'll just have the overlapping the eye because I don't want the eye to disappear. And then the other one goes down there. I'm just going to squiggle that one. It's actually got another one that comes from there. Actually, I can hide the eye and make these longer. And he's got little knots at the end, so I could exaggerate those. And then with the hair, it's really interesting at the top here. So I could have little tufts going off here. Just colour that in, hide that line a little bit. And his eyebrows kind of go up like that and then along, and same on the other side. He's looking a little bit more at me, so I'm going to knock off the top of the iris a little bit, and very shadowed in there, so I can go a little bit darker. And then a little neck like that. Actually, he looks a little bit feminine. And the snake could wrap round. I like that. And again, I could even exaggerate the snake a little bit. So that's my first ruff. If I was going to carry on with this one, which I'm not going to, I could work it again, change things, alter things, shrink things, enlarge areas, shrink this a little bit, like that, and just add a little bit in his ears. Like that. So that is the basis of a caricature. It's getting the head shape, looking for the features that stand out, and then incorporating it into your drawing. And as I said, doing ruffs is a really good idea. So that's the first one. Another one I'm going to use is from my photo collection, is this gentleman here, who I really like. So I will put that, I will move along a little bit and put him here so you can see it. So looking at his features, he's got a very rectangular face, very square, so I could enhance that. His nose is just perfect. It's I like the raised nostril, and it's quite rounded, so I can really exaggerate that, and these lovely cheeks going on here. The eyes are quite small. I could shrink those. The idea is that if you enlarge one area of the face, like this is talking to me, this square here, you shrink another area of the face. So what you gain in one part, you lose in another. So I'm going to start with head shape. So I'm thinking forehead, we'll have it quite small, I think. And then going down to the cheeks, they're really wonderful. So we're going to go square here. So completely different to the face shape in this, in the child's caricature. That goes up to there. Now, what I'm going to do maybe is take this in even more and exaggerate this area. And then he's got a line of his neck coming down. So his nose I'm going to approximate around here. And he's got these marvellous cheeks, which probably around there. I might even make those bigger. With his glasses, I'm going to shrink the glasses. So they're going to be a lot smaller over here. So I'm just drawing very lightly to begin with. And his eyes are going to fit in the glasses, much, much smaller. His mouth is quite interesting, the way the top lip goes over the bottom lip. So I'm going to make it a little bit more crooked. So it goes round like that. And then drops down there. And it goes into his cheeks like that. So I'm going to draw on this a little bit more now. So with his nose, I'm going to get the round end. Drops down there like that, and then the nostril goes up like that, and the side of the nose goes round like that, and then you've got the other side of the nose there, and then he's got a little bulge just there, and that goes into the glasses. So I'm going to shrink the glasses even more. Goes over and over here, I might exaggerate the smile a little bit. So his eyes are very small, and I'm just going to get the approximate shape. He's got lids that drop over them, so I'm going to put those in. And I'm going to make them all crinkly, maybe underneath, with a few lines, like that. So take the cheek out a little bit and exaggerate this cheek. And that cheek goes that way. And with the mouth, I'm going to just do the top lip in a very similar way. I'm not going to exaggerate too much. And then the bottom lip is a lot thinner, so I'm going to thin that out. And then he's got a line under there. So for the head, it's not quite right. I'm going to take it in a little bit. And I think I should have left it a little bit longer on the filtrum there. I'm going to shrink his neck here. And then his ear, they're not particularly interesting. However, he's got a fantastic earlobe there. So I might just put the ear in relatively normal size and then just have him with a big earlobe. And you can just see the other ear here, which I'm going to exaggerate a little bit because it will enhance the width of the face. And just put in that very quickly. And then for the hair, I like the way the hair goes up and over from the forehead. So we're going to have that like that. And then it kind of like, it's a bit like a wave actually. It drops down there and over across there. And then you've got a little bit of hair here. He's got a bit of a curl. Well, actually, I think that's his his partner, her curl. But I quite like that, so I might put a curl in like that. This goes down and over there, like that. I think I made his eyes too thin. I'll put a bit of eye in there. That's better. That makes him look more interesting. Oh, sorry, I've got a kitten attacking my paper. Yeah, so, and with his collar, I'm going to make it too big for him. So he's got shoulder here. So his collar is, Nim, behave. So his collar is, do you know what? Well, I could think about that. And the other side comes down here. So you can see what I've done with both of these, enlarged one area of the face and highlighted the areas of the face that I thought were the most interesting. So this is just roughs. If I was doing this one, I might try another one. I might try making the head taller maybe, or even extending the cheeks out and making it even more square. So you kind of play with it. This is the image I'm actually going to use for my final piece. It's I took it from lilylilyimages.com, and I thought his face was very interesting. So when I look at it, he's got a very strong nose. Oh, sorry. Go on, shoo. Very strong nose. I love this moustache. It goes right the way across the face. A really nice large bottom lip. His eyes are quite small, but he's got great eyelashes, so I might exaggerate those. I think the face is quite thin down here, so I'm going to make it a lot wider here, but I might elongate it as well with this beard, which is very interesting. And I'm not sure, I think probably I could even shrink the hat or scarf, I'm not sure. So come on, you off. So to begin, I start with a ruff. Oh, sorry, I've been trying to get her to get off for an hour now. You're a very naughty girl. And she won't, and I can't lock her out because my door doesn't shut. So looking at the face shape, thinking long, and then going into the curve where the mouth is, and then the beard could come over this way. So I like that. So going down here, maybe have the beard going around like that. So this is, oh come on you, This is quite an exaggeration. I made it very banana-like. So what I'm going to do is where the eyes are going to go, I think the cheek there, and then I might elongate the head and have it going up there like that. So eyes about here. Nose is going to be a lot bigger. And then I really like this moustache, so that's going to be much wider. So I'm just scribbling at the moment. He's got 2 teeth, which I could put in, and then that lovely bottom lip there. So I'm going to draw this a little bit more. So starting with his nostrils, it goes over there. And then what happens with this side is it comes in and then it just goes up and over like that. So I'm happy with that nose. And with the eyes, I'm going to think about those. I'm going to put in the moustache, which I'm going to exaggerate and take out here a little bit. Down here. I like that. And then for the bottom lip, I'm going to make it quite large. It could even come over the side of the head. I like that, so that the bottom of the head nearly disappears. So I'm starting to feel my way and liking some of it. This could drop down. And the beard starts here, so I could do a little bit of something there. And then this is all curly along here. One point to note that is if you have somebody who hasn't got any particular dominant features, that doesn't have a nose that's larger or more interesting, what you can do is then you have to look at face shape and try and exaggerate it even more. You can make one eye bigger than the other, that kind of thing, just to make it more interesting, because not everybody has a face that's easy to caricature. So with the eyes, I'm going to make them quite small, but they're quite lidded. So, and I'm thinking of making them very dark around. So he's got great eyebrows actually. And this side. And I'm going to have him looking at me, which is not actually in the picture. So I just raise his irises up a little bit, cut them off at the top, and then that drops down to there. And then with his eyelashes, definitely exaggerate those a little bit, like that. So going over to his face, he's got cheek there as well, and that comes down to his beard, which I actually can make a bit longer. So I might shave off a little bit here as well. And his forehead, I might shrink a little bit but elongate, like that. So thinking about his turban, I'm going to exaggerate it a little bit. I've gone off my page, but I think I know what I'm doing. That goes way over there. Yeah, I like that. That's something I can figure out as I go. I think what that does actually is lose me my emphasis, my exaggerations in the face. So I might have to make that higher up. End it here maybe. Yeah, shrink it. That's what's happened. Shrink it down to there. And then his neck could come down there. That's better. I like that. So that's how my roughs develop. I'm going to give him a slightly flared look to his nostril. And I think I will put his tooth in. It's part of his character. So going here to his clothes, shrinking his body a little bit. Like that, and then I could make his beads bigger even. So that's my idea to begin with. I might exaggerate it a little bit when I draw it out properly and change a few things, but I'm quite happy with that. And now I have my rough. I'm going to talk a little bit about inks and nibs. I've got here two Indian inks. This one's Daler-Rowney and this one is Winsor & Newton. Both fine. Indian ink generally, because I don't do too much in the way of this kind of work, I'm not too fussy about my inks. I'm going to use the Daler-Rowney solely because I can get the lid off. I can never get the lid off the Winsor & Newton bottles. So here goes. This is one that I bought from Sea Whites, and it was supposed to be permanent, and it's not. No, don't drink the ink. Ugh. Nim had her operation this week. You wouldn't know it though, it's not stopped her. And yeah, very disappointed in this because when people tried to put a wash of ink around it, it all moved. So I wouldn't recommend this even though it's supposed to be permanent. Any kind of permanent ink will do, but black Indian ink is very black and that's what I like. You do have to make sure you clean your nibs though, because it stickies everything up, and also wipe your top before putting your lid on because yeah, it will glue. It will set like glue. So bit of kitchen roll, and first of all though, I'm going to lightly draw out from my rough. So I'm going to start it a little bit lower down, probably here. So with the nose, I always start with the nose. That's just the way I work. You might want to start with the eyes. And I'm doing it very lightly. And I love this nose, so I might even take it out a little bit more. We shall see. Going over there. I might change the eyebrows as well. I like how short this is widthwise, and I'm thinking I might shorten this one as well. So lidded eye there and over there. So just vague marks. Great moustache. I think we're going to have an accident here. Okay. So the moustache goes down there. You will find that when you do your final piece, you might end up being a little bit less spontaneous. So it's a good idea still to work quite quickly. Top lip, you can just see it. Teeth. And then hanky nim. Bottom lip. I can bring it out quite a way. There. Might even make it bigger. So you can caricature without being cruel. If you look at the satirical caricatures, if you look at one of the most famous people in the past to be caricatured was Margaret Thatcher, and some of those were absolutely ruthless and very funny. But if you're doing friends and family, you don't want to upset them. So you don't want to exaggerate it in a distorted, strange way. Just slight exaggeration works sometimes. So the beard will be coming down here. And yeah, happy with the nose, a bit more flair. So for the eye, I'm going to go quite small. So it's the middle of the face that's exaggerated here. I think I'm going to go off my page again. I do apologise. And again, I'm going to make the eyes look at me and exaggerate the eyelashes. There's the cheek on that side. Ah, actually, I've done something that I didn't do in here. I quite like the curve of that. So I'm happy with that. That really makes a difference to me. And then we're going to have a very thin face at the bottom. I might just get rid of the hair at the side and just have the turban. So the turban coming down here. Turban is a little bit of a sticking point with me. I'm not entirely sure about it, but if you're not sure about it, very often just drawing helps. So this can go with how fat the cheeks are. I think the turban can come right out from the cheeks. So I'll move that across a little bit, changing all the time, and the back of it can come out. If I move that out a little bit, see what it does. Maybe like that. I would actually take it off the page and maybe shrink it down a little bit. Oh, I quite like that. A little bit of hair here, and we will have the neck coming like that. I could even make the neck a bit thinner actually. However, I'll keep it as it is. So the beard going along here. And the shoulder. Well, now let's think. Shall I have a small shoulder? Yes, I think so. So I'll bring the neck in a little bit more. And there's a few creases going on here because it's gathered. So I can put those in. If you look at my line, I'm trying to make it flowing with a lot of movement to add life to my caricature. I might take that up a little bit. No, I could even take this back. So things are changing all the time. Ooh, trouble's back. I do like these, so I'm going to have one of these here. And I'm going to put another one on the other side to match it. There we are. No, Nim, don't drink that. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. I'd like to think I've caught his character. Oh, I forgot eyebrows on there, and maybe don't drink the ink. Good job there was none in that. There, happy. Right, so I'm going to get my nib pen and begin. Now, the great thing about a nib pen is you can press really hard and you get a very fat line, and you can go sideways with it and you get a very thin line. And very expressive, and that's why I like them. So thinking about my line, I've got to think about where I'm going to put my fine lines and where I'm going to put my large lines, my wide lines. Usually when you do something like, for instance, if I'm going to do nostril, I'll make the top bit wider and then the bottom bit narrower. So anything where there's shadows or weight in the line, then I will do that accordingly. So again, starting with the nose. So I'm going to make this quite light over here. And then in the nose here, I'm going to really press hard. Oop, can't see where I'm going. And then the middle of the nose, reasonably light, going into this nostril there. And you can see you get quite a nice sensitive line over here. And on the bridge of his nose, I'm going to make it fat. Exaggerates the bridge of his nose a little bit. So going over to the eyes. Shall I go over to the eyes? Yes, I will. getting in these lovely lashes. I've pressed really hard. I'm going over to this side, light and then heavy. A bit heavier there. Oh, one out, I think. Now when you press hard you get lint from the paper. This, by the way, is cartridge paper, heavy quality, nice quality. It's Sussex Stationers, I think. It's quite old, and you can still use old cartridge paper if it's not too yellowed, whereas with watercolour paper you just don't want to go there with old paper, but cartridge paper seems to last. So I'm going to make the iris a bit narrow, bit thinner. And then the eye drops down there. And again on that side. Like that. He's looking a little bit wonky. Never mind. So going up to the eyebrow, I'm going to make that very thin. And I'm going to extend that line over to there. And I'm just going to go like that. On this side, I'm going to slightly alter it and have it going a little bit to the left from where I had it. Check the width and hatchet in. There. So onto the cheek, that's just filling in, and where the cheek goes fatter, I'm going to have a fat line. Oops, I didn't quite go in the way I wanted it to, but I think it works. And then for the forehead it's going to be thinner, maybe just in the middle a bit fatter, like that. So going over to the moustache, I think I'm going to have a nice little bit of texture along the edge of it. I'm going to go thinner, fatter underneath because it is quite dark in there. And I'm going to have some broken edges as well so that it looks lighter. And it goes a little bit paler in there. Top lip, quite thin, fine. I see a little bit of interest in that lip actually. So I'm going to curve it up a bit like that. And then we've got the two teeth, which I'm going to shrink. And then this marvellous lip, which comes down here, across the teeth, like that. I'm trying to make this proportional so that, you know, there's a centre line to the face, so that everything is in alignment, because his face is quite symmetrical. So I'm going to try and keep that. So I don't want my mouth going off to the side or the nose ending up back there. So you've really got to think about the middle line and how everything fits under, you know, like how the mouth fits under the nose, how the chin, where the chin will go. So for the bottom lip, I'm going to go in with a really nice thick line. Paying a little bit of attention to a little bit of detail there. And I'm looking carefully at the way it goes at the bottom. It just basically goes round. I've done it a bit wide actually. Still, I think that works reasonably well. So onto this little bit of beard here, which I think is really nice. So I'm going to keep that shape. And I can just see the side of the face down there. So he's got quite a curly beard. So I'm going to curl it. wider lines, some thinner lines, going down here, making this quite symmetrical as well. I think I need to go a little bit more weighty with my line. That's it, and that balances a little bit better with the lines on the face. I'm going to leave this open-ended. And carrying on up to here. I'm trying not to put my hand on any of the ink that I've just done because it probably isn't dry. I'm putting a lot of ink in. Around here. So looking at the face shape, actually, you know what? I'm going to bring this in a little bit. The moustache needs a little bit of emphasis, but I'll be doing a little bit of hatching anyway. So we shall see. So I'm going to bring the neck in a bit as well. The lint that's stuck in my nib is actually helping me to do fatter lines. He's got curls that go around the edge of the neck. This is all about observation. The more you observe, the more you see, the easier it gets. So you've really got to practice your observation with this. Little details. And I'm going to make this go into a funny little shape at the bottom, like that. I did a little bit too fluffy. That's that one. And then on this side, the same thing, because I want this to look symmetrical. I have that end going off here, like so. I'm going to put in this cheek. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the hair there, so I'll leave that for now. I didn't put his necklace in, I'll just put that in. The necklace isn't that important really, so I'm just going to have it going behind the beard. But it's part of his personality. I could have done something quite interesting with the necklace, but I decided not to. I think this can go over there. And then that goes down there. I'm going to, looking at my line here, it's quite heavy, and I want the focal point to be in the nose. So I'm going to go over the lines in the nose a little bit. So put these in quickly. And the turban. So this is where I can put some detail in. Goes up there like that. And you can see I've chopped off a little bit of my ruff that I did underneath. So that goes over there. Got a fold here, a fold there. Oh, and this kind of goes over to here. Oh, lost myself. Never mind. There's a fold that goes over here. So long as it looks like. And then this carries on down here. So fold goes like that. And I might take this up a little bit to here. And you know what? I can put a little bit of hair in here. I'm going to fill in the beard quite a bit, but I'll do that shortly when I do my cross hatching. And then the bottom of this can go into there. Now what I've done by accident, I have to confess, although I'd like to take the credit, is I've had the line of the hat going in with the line of the jaw, and that actually creates quite a nice shape, and it also brings the eye down to the mouth area. I'm going to strengthen the nose so you go up. I'm not too worried about the eyes being the focal point, but that is a little accident that I'm very happy with. So going this, and I'll take it across there. And probably if I hadn't started so far up the page, I would have got that in. I could even have exaggerated this going actually backwards again. I'll just put another line in there. And actually that works better like that. So I can put in a few creases. And there is the pattern there, which I could put a bit in. Bit of a suggestion of pattern. There's a stripe there, there's one there. So I'm putting the pattern in very lightly, otherwise it'll confuse it. A few dots. Actually not managed to drip yet. Actually I shouldn't have said that either. Saying a lot of actuallys. And over this one. So now I'm going to look at the eyes. He is lidded, so I'm going to put that in. And I'm going to fill in the nostrils a little bit. In the mouth. Make the eyebrows a little bit darker. At this point, I could actually just concentrate on the line and leave the hatching, because it doesn't really need it, but I'm going to put the hatching in anyway, just to show you how to do it. I think I'll make the moustache much darker. So I'm not hatching on this, I'm just scribbling in, get a bit of texture. I'm really wrecking my paper now, which is fine. I could even take this out at the side. This is about playing. Yeah, I like that, so I'll keep that. I'm going to make this darker in here by hatching. Oh, no, I'm not. The paper's wrecked. So in the mouth, I'm going to put, no, I'm going to start on the beard now. Because this is spontaneous. I haven't planned anything particularly out, apart from the media that I'm using. Add a few little hairs, little stray hairs. Also at this stage I can change the shape of the beard if I don't like it. So I'm trying not to do curly whirlies, I'm trying to be random. And my nib is so full of lint now, it's not doing anything. Just darken it here and maybe under the mouth a bit. That's better. And down here. So I'm going to go darker here because it's not substantial enough, and I'm hatching. So that's the easy way to do it, rather than squiggling. I'm going to put the eyes in quite dark. There. He has got a nice shine in there. So just have a quick look. The shine is over on this side. I think actually I should have left a bigger shine. That doesn't matter because at the end I can put on a dot of white paint if I want to. Over there a little bit. And I think a little bit of dark in here because he's got hair in there. And also, I think making this darker. Oops, no, all good, dried out. I think that will emphasise his neck. Around the back of the beads. Yeah. Oh, I've splattered. Never mind. A bit more here. And I think a little bit of line, stronger line here. It's going to be very dark. Right. So at this stage, a bit darker here. I could even call it a day here. Maybe exaggerate how dark the beard is a bit more. I'd like to go in a lot darker with the beard actually, so I'll just keep hatching over. I think it's quite a defining shape on the face. And particularly the dark under here. So to keep it uniform, I'm just going to cross hatch down here. This is the pattern on his top. It's not important really as a detail, so I'm just going to scratch it in lightly, like that. I could go even darker here. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh dear, that's a problem. I'll just take that off a little bit. So, okay. Right, well, I'm going to try and incorporate that. So we're going to have to go even darker. See, I was getting too confident. Oh, well, you know, it works. Darker in here. I think what I'll do now is, because that side got a little bit distorted, I'll distort this side and cut his beard, his moustache, into two at the end, like that. So now I'm going to start to work in with a little bit more hatching on the face. I might even go darker here. Sorry, keep doing this to you. So for the lips and the nose, I've got to re-look again at the picture, because what putting in hatching on the skin is going to change the shape. So if I squint at it, he's quite dark around the eyes, so I can go for that. That exaggerates the eyes a little bit, and a little bit of dark there, and this the lip. So I'm not going to go in with too much hatching. I think I'll start with the lip, and I'm holding my nib pen higher up because it's easier to hatch. If you hold it lower down, you've got to move your hand to hatch. So just doing it this way, you just move your fingers and you get some quite nice hatching lines. Try to be confident with it. Goes a bit darker under there. So I'm not trying to be realistic. Darker in the top lip. Just trying to get some shades in for a bit more three-dimensional feel. Don't know whether to, well, you know what, I will. I'll put hatching in the mouth. This is probably where I overkill. That's okay. And then hatching down the side of the nose. And under the nose is quite dark, so a bit of hatching there. You could cross hatch if you wanted to get a bit more depth. I really love the sound of the pen scratching on the paper. I think for some people it actually goes through them, but I really like it. So I'm just going to fill in most of the area of the eye. And also this side. I'm trying to get some very light lines here, because I don't want to go too heavy. And I'm paying attention to the shadow areas of the eye and the shape. And now he looks like he's been up all night. He's got the crease down the side of the cheek here, which I'll put in. And also maybe this one. Because I've started hatching, you just have to go over the whole thing now. Don't necessarily need it. And it's dark under here. Cross hatch it a bit. I can go in a lot blacker in here, I think, and maybe exaggerate the line of the lip again because I've lost it a little bit, and there as well. And also over the eye. So when you hatch something, you very often have to reinforce the lines that you've done. got a little bit of hair going down there as well. If I squint, I can see there's a few areas on the forehead. It's got a little bit of shadow in there. Hatching across here and here exaggerates the cheeks. And I'm going to go darker underneath the bottom lip. Down here. The neck's quite dark. Do you know, I could bring in this neck a little bit more. Just there. So I can still change things. And if I hatch up to the bees will stand out a bit more. But then I'm losing my beard, so I will go in with that a little bit more. And I've splattered again. It's because the way I hold this, I hold it too flat and it just floods out. So then I have to bring up the rest of it to match. Darker in here. I think his chest is quite dark, so a little bit of hatching down here. Somehow I stopped my beads. There. Heavier in here with the beard. And yeah, I'm really wrecking the paper now. Make this nostril a bit bigger. That's better. It's a bit darker. Work the beard a bit more. The beard has become a lot more important than I initially had it. I could do a little bit of hatching on the hat, but I don't want to do too much because I think it's just make that darker. I don't think that it needs it really. I can hatch the green, maybe, and even the red. Now I've hatched that, I have to do this. And I'm going to make these darker as well. So, paying attention to tonal values. By doing this, it draws your eye into the cheeks. So, anywhere that's going to be really dark is going to stand out. So you want to put your really dark areas in the important areas. Maybe a little bit darker within the eyes. So, and in here. I'm not sure about doing any more on the nose. think I might extend it up a little bit with a slight amount of hatching there, darken this. He has got a line going down the nose, so I might just do that very lightly. I don't want to end up too fussy. I'm going to go in really dark with these as well. A bit heavier here. So at this point I'll sit back and think, do I really need any more? And I don't think I need that much. I just want to make sure that the areas that I like are standing out, and I think I'm going to go darker just under the nose, because the nose was quite a strong feature. And maybe darker here to take the eye up to the nose. The eyes I'm actually fine with. A bit more dark around the edges there. Maybe a bit darker here. And I think the hair frames the face. So yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I'm enjoying it. And I've got to stop, because when you're enjoying something you can end up going over the top with it because it's working. So this is where I stop, apart from a little bit more in here. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think, oh, blotched. Well, there you go. I might take some of that out if I can. I don't think that hurts it. I just have to, again, make it part of it. So blotched here as well. And I'm going to go in really dark under here. Like that. And so I think that will be enough. So I hope that was useful to you, and I hope you have a go. I'd be really interested to see how people get on. And I've lost the shine, so that's something I'm going to have to put in again. So hopefully I'll be seeing you in the flesh in the DuPont at some point, but in the meantime, enjoy your art and see you next week. Bye.